Hi, my name is Rolfs and welcome to the fourth in the series of services vlogs that we're talking about. And I'm going to be focusing on the technology, how it can be achieved, and the challenges for extracting meaningful data. I see the biggest challenge of extracting data from an LVC environment is actually understanding all the different sources of data that exist. So if we take a live environment, what actually is happening and what systems are required to extract information from. So if it's a TES system, understanding exactly what each of the fields that are collected in that TES system and how they're actually simply reported. Knowing where you want to manipulate that information to actually get the insights that you're looking for. And working with all the different suppliers as well to understand they know their systems intimately, and we know our system intimately, and actually having those frank and open conversations about the technical integration, doing de-risking, testing, and extracting the information so that actually you can flow all the way through. So actually when you end up with it and you present a finding, you can actually stretch all the way through from that soldier on the ground all the way through to where it's actually reached a meaningful insight. The big change that's happened to enable this to happen now is advances in technology. I cast my mind back to when I first started looking at this in 2000, 2003, 2005. You didn't have the data systems, you didn't have the wearables that everyone has, you didn't have the databases, you didn't have the storage which could actually easily be deployed to capture all this information. Invention of the smartphone and how it's just propagated lots of different technologies means that actually strapping on putting on a health monitor on a soldier to monitor exactly their heart rate, their breathing rates, what they're doing if they're lying down, standing up. All those technologies were too cumbersome and were lab-based 10 years ago. Now everyone has one. I mean, you can't walk down the street without seeing somebody with a smartphone on or their watch on to do those. And actually now means that we almost got to the beautiful position where we're collecting too much data, or so much data that we can actually start drawing some really good trends coming out there. And that's the exciting bit going forward. There's lots and lots of work being done now in other industries about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data fusion that is really exciting to get into. What actually you can see where previously you'd rely on a human to try and spot a trend. The machines are now getting so efficient at doing it that they spot it before we even get to that situation. So that makes it really exciting going forward, and that's what some of the stuff we're working on now is actually fusing the information together in meaningful insights, but actually giving it to the machine and seeing what comes out when they've digested and crunched the numbers. So now looking forward and thinking about the technology that's going forward. I admit I get referred to as the geek in the office, but actually we should never forget the human that exists along all the experimentation, the golden thread that goes through. We want to understand why human is doing what they're doing, and to do that we don't just look at one data source. So the next development that we're doing is understanding all the metrics that go along with the human. So we don't just look at TES or tactical engagement and what they're doing in terms of how they're shooting, but we look at how they're thinking, what their heart rate is doing at the time, where they're looking, how are they actually interacting with others, and fusing that along with, do they understand where a target is, or do I understand how to engage and prosecute a target. All of those different sources of information actually in one, so you're not just looking very linear at one type of data source, but you're understanding the complete human. So what's the biggest challenge? The technical is an interesting challenge and one that keeps us busy, understanding all the different fusing of data. But actually the biggest challenge going forward is understanding the cultural. Understanding that different people come with different learning styles. Previous generations may have been more PowerPoint based, whereas next generation are all about understanding in terms of e-learning and those sorts of things. Fusing those different learning styles together so that actually everyone gets insights from an after action review or data exploitation, that's the biggest challenge, and that's a cultural challenge.